Hello and welcome to Battlefield 1 News. So in this episode I'm going to be covering what might be coming and what is coming in early 2017 for Battlefield 1. DICE have published a very simple roadmap and there's also been some hints dropped by developers. So let's get into it with the roadmap. The first thing that they've announced is there's going to be a custom game mode coming on the 18th and it's called Bleed Out. This is a custom version of Rush where there is no regenerative healing, but players respawn faster. So from what I can work out, this means that hiding in a corner isn't going to get you health back. You will still be able to heal from medic bags, and it means that squad wipes are going to be really important. If you can wipe out an entire squad, then they're going to have to respawn back at their base. If you don't wipe out the squad, then they can just constantly respawn on one squad member who may be hiding as a spawn point. In February we can expect a major patch to Battlefield 1, so this is going to be bug fixes, gameplay improvements, balance changes. That's coming in February. They haven't given us a date, but they have said to expect more information soon, and of course we'll get the patch notes when the patch comes out. And I'll do a full look at the patch notes when we get them. I think the biggest balance change we'd all like to see is something done about the grenade spam. Personally, I think they've got to reduce the gas grenades down to 1, and I think they've got to increase the time it takes to resupply grenades from an ammo bag. They've also got to stop that grenade crossbow from resupplying itself, because at the moment you can have the support carrying 3 grenades and the assault carrying 3 grenades as well. If you put gas grenades in there, well then technically they can have 4 grenades each. So that's just too many. The final thing on the roadmap coming in March is the They Shall Not Pass expansion. Now this is the French expansion, so we are going to see French soldiers, and it's based around the battles at Verdun. It's going to include new weapons and new maps. Now I should imagine there's going to be 4 new maps and probably 6 new weapons. 4 maps is pretty standard for a DLC, and I think the 6 weapons make sense because we'll get 1 for each class, probably 1 pistol and 1 gadget weapon. Now as you can see from this concept art, Verdun became a quagmire. It started off as a wonderful forest, then the artillery basically just burnt it to the ground. The trees went, the villages went, anything that was above ground basically got flattened. Now the town of Verdun was surrounded by fortresses, and one of the famous battles was the fortress of Vaux. The fortress suffered massive artillery strikes. They used flamethrowers to try and asphyxiate them inside, but the French troops basically moved underground and managed to survive underground against superior German numbers for nearly a week before they had to surrender because they didn't have any water. Now the French used a variety of weapons during World War I, like most sides did. They used whatever they could get hold of. But some particularly French weapons we're probably going to see are the Chauchat LMG, the Liebel and Berthier, which is the infantry rifle. We might see the Riboyoles 1918. Now that was a prototype self-loading carbine. Didn't really see service in World War I, but it might be in there because we have seen experimental weapons before. And a very interesting knife, which isn't really a knife, is basically a metal spike called the French nail. They took a long piece of metal bar, sharpened and pointed one end, and bent the other end round to form a handguard. And basically that is what the French infantry used, to stab people in trenches. We're probably going to see a French pistol as well, but because of supply issues and the fact that they were losing so many soldiers and equipment, the French basically used anything they could get their hands on. So they used American guns, French guns, Spanish guns, English guns. They used whatever they could find. So that's the They Shall Not Pass DLC, which is coming in March. Of course it's going to come 2 weeks earlier if you've got premium, so I expect it to be beginning to mid-March for the premium members and towards the end of March for non-premium members. And hopefully from the looks of some of that concept art we are finally going to get a bit more trench warfare, because Verdun was famous for it. That's basically all DICE have told us in the roadmap so far, but there has been an interesting little leak or suggestion from one of the developers at DICE. Ali Hansen was talking about some of the server improvements and when they were going to go live, and he said that they're probably going to be tested on CTE first. Now, if you don't know what CTE is, it's something that Battlefield 4 started. It's the community test environment, and basically it's a prototype version of Battlefield that you can test out on separate servers before you release an update. And premium members were allowed to go in, play the new versions, play the fixes and balance changes, and give their feedback. And DICE could look at the servers and see what kind of information they were getting from them. It's essentially a way for DICE to do large-scale testing without having lots of employees. We know there's a large patch coming in February. Now, I imagine all the testing for this has pretty much been done in-house already, so I don't think we're going to see CTE arrive before that. But what I imagine is that sometime before the next DLC, we're going to see the CTE environment launched by DICE. If you don't have Premium and you're on PS4, you're probably out of luck. Sony didn't like the idea of the CTE, and so it was never released for Battlefield 4 or Hardline on the PlayStation. However, it was available on the Xbox and PC. I imagine we're probably going to see it roll out on the PC first, because that's what happened with the original CTEs, and then there'll probably be an Xbox version sometime down the line. If they can get their act together with Sony, then maybe we will see a PS4 version, but I doubt it, because Xbox basically let them do the updates on the CTE for free because they were untested, and Sony wouldn't let them do free updates. They wanted to charge them as if they were updating the full game. Right, so that's basically the news we have for the development of Battlefield 1 in early 2017. Like I say, apart from the fact we're going to be getting the custom game mode on the 18th, we don't really have any fixed dates or fixed information yet. Quite a lot of speculation, things like what's going to be coming in the DLC and when CTE is actually going to arrive. That's just basically guesswork. But we can have pretty informed guesses from what we've been told and what we've been shown. When we do get more firm information, I'll let you know. But until then, thanks for watching.